Greetings. My name is Lolita Buckner-Innes, and I'm the Dean of the University of Colorado Law School. It is my great, great privilege and honor to welcome you to the commencement ceremony honoring the class of 2022. If you would all please take your seats. First, I begin with a land acknowledgement. As we gather today, we honor and acknowledge that the University of Colorado's 4 campuses are on the traditional territories and ancestral homelands of the Cheyenne, the Arapaho, the Ute, the Apache, the Comanche, the Kiowa, the Lakota, Pueblo, and Shoshone nations. Further, we acknowledge the 48 contemporary tribal nations historically tied to the lands that comprise what is now Colorado. Every single member of this class has worked hard to get to this day. Congratulations to you all. You are my very first graduating class as Dean of Colorado Law, and this makes me all the more deeply honored to stand before you today. We have many special guests here today, and I will only name a few, beginning with Colorado Governor Jared Polis. Governor Polis and I are graduates of the same undergraduate school, though we did not attend at the same time. We both hold dear the kinship created by our attendance at that school. Colorado law graduates have a similar kinship as they go out into the world. And I know you've heard this before, but graduates, look to your left and look to your right. These are your future colleagues, your future collaborators, and I hope your friends as you go forth to join the great, great community of Colorado law alumni. I also extend a special welcome to Mr. Woon Ki Lau, who will be inducted as an honorary member of the Order of the Coif. I want to thank, in addition, all of the staff and faculty who have made this day possible over the last several months and years, and down to weeks and days. They have worked hard to bring you to this momentous occasion. Graduates, you have experienced immense challenges in your 3 years. I am sure I don't have to tell you that. Challenges in our community, in our country, and in our world, ranging from mass shootings, to fires, to civic unrest and political insurrection, to war and the ongoing perils of COVID-19, and most recently, portending challenges to established bodies of law in our country. You, members of the class of 2022, have gone through a lot. I want us to pause just for a moment, and I want you to give yourselves a round of applause for reaching this day. In my remarks today, I want to share with you some thoughts that I have over the years, sometimes shared with students who are starting their law school careers. I think, however, that these comments are even more salient as you go forth having finished law school. These comments center the need for self-reflection, authenticity, and for finally understanding what it is and what we mean to each other in this world. As some of you know, I am a first-generation college graduate, a first-generation law school graduate, and I'm the first person in my family to obtain a regular K-12 education. Despite coming from a family with very limited formal education, I was blessed with an exceedingly wise and intelligent mother. In the years before her death, when I was first starting off in law practice, I began sharing with my mother the trials and tribulations of my work life. But you know, my mother would have none of it. At the beginning of any such conversation, she would ignore all my complaints, and she would engage me on what she felt to be truly important, the real stuff of life. So she would interrupt me and she would say, "Did you walk outside today?" Or she'd say, "What did you eat today?" I would be so vexed. You know, I'm pretty persistent, so I kept complaining. And finally, she would get exasperated and she'd say, "Why are you upset about these things? Don't whine. Work, just work. I raised you so that you could be in a position so you would not have to kiss anybody's," and here I'll substitute the word, "behind." That's not what she said, but you probably know what she said. My mother could be as polished as a wealthy suburban matron in public, but at other times she could curse like a sailor, which was just part of her charm. She would go on, "Yes, you need to work hard, but you don't work hard for the sake of working hard. You do it so that you have choices in life." And I have never, ever forgotten that. It's about having choices in life. It's not what you choose, it's having the choice. And then after all that, my mother would go back to her usual placid conversation. Now, how much time did you spend outside today? You know, I used to think at first that my mother refused to engage me about the details of my lawyer's life because it was too alien for her, too far removed from her own life. My mother had, after all, scarcely attended a regular high school. She dropped out at 15, and she finished up at a night school years later when she was in her 20s. But you know, I eventually figured out this was not the reason at all that my mother behaved the way she did. My mother was not well educated, but she was certainly bright. She very well understood the details of my lawyer's life. The fact was, she understood them better than I understood them. What she understood was that as important as I thought my professional life was, it was but a shadow of the seemingly simple but immensely rich and complex internal workings of my personal life. She understood that only when that personal part of my life was well-founded could any of the rest of it make any sense at all. Now, among the many things that my mother taught me was the importance of being a good citizen. And you know, when I was a very young child, I took that to heart. I always wanted to be the kid that got the little gold star in school, and I'd come home. And you know, I think when you even say the word citizenship, it's difficult, especially in our contemporary world. The idea of citizenship is deeply fraught, and it's especially subject to being fodder for highly politicized and polarized interactions. Citizenship, let's face it, means a lot of things. And good citizenship is even more perplexing because it's a concept that on a daily basis is confounding and contorting and just confusing all around. Because what, after all, is the content of good citizenship? There's a book that I read once that offers some answers to these questions. And the book is called The Good Citizen. And the editors, David Batstone and Eduardo Mendieta, they pulled together some of the brightest thinkers and writers in the world, including Judith Butler, Cornel West, Ronald Takaki, and they all offer their thoughts on the topic of good citizenship. And you know, when I first read the book, I thought, wow, my mother wasn't very well educated, but she could have written this book, because the authors of that book, they were saying the same things that my mother told me. At its most fundamental, at its basic sense, the touchstone of citizenship, of good citizenship, is well past legislative or philosophical definitions. Being a good citizen means taking care of other people. That's what being a good citizen means. And the editors themselves, in their introduction, one of the really, really striking things they say is that citizenship stands for a number of ideals like autonomy and self-regulation and a sense of solidarity. But here's the thing I really love. They said, citizenship secularizes the commandment to treat the stranger as one's neighbor. These are very worthy words. But you know, they don't account for the fact that for many of us, there are limits to who might be included as a neighbor. For some of us, whether we acknowledge it or not, or whether or not we choose to see someone as a neighbor depends upon our own moral or ideological proximity. Are neighbors only those who never do wrong? Or increasingly, are they only those who never appear to be doing wrong? And though many would count as neighbors people who are vulnerable or who are victims in society or victims of crime or mistreatment, what about the people who are doing the mistreating? Are they neighbors? This is an especially pressing question for you as you go out into the world as lawyers. What about the people who are accused? Now, there are what I call the easy cases for us as lawyers. The easy cases are when there are people who are falsely accused. Those are the feel-good cases. Those are the ones where you say, I'm going to go out, I'm going to help, I'm going to defend, because this person is falsely accused, and they deserve our justice, and they deserve our sympathy. But you know what? One of the things that I learned pretty early on in my career as a lawyer is that, well, especially given that I started my career as a prosecutor, sometimes people are rightly accused. We don't like to say that as often. Sometimes people are rightly accused. Sometimes people are bad by even the most generous standard. And you know what? They too deserve our justice, even if we cannot find it within ourselves to give them our sympathy. They all deserve our justice. Exercising even a secularized commitment to treating total strangers as neighbors is full of contradictions. And you, new graduates, you can and you must reconcile those contradictions. And going out into the world today, I hope that we at Colorado Law have given you the tools that you need to make that reconciliation. Now, going back to my mother, one of the things my mother said to me when I was heading off to college, and she said it to me again when I was going to law school, was, I don't want you to go to those fancy places and get brand new. Now, some of you know what that means. That is a colloquial expression drawn from the heart of the Black experience in the US. And what it basically means in plain terms is, don't forget your best self. Don't forget who and what you are. And what she meant was that, you've gotten this far in life. There are things that have worked for you in the past, and they will continue to work for you. Going out into the world after law school is no time to impress yourself or others by discarding all the things that you have learned over the years. This is a time instead to embrace all the things that make you who you are. So if you're an early riser, go ahead and be one. Go out into the world that way. If you're someone who likes to speak her mind, well then, continue doing that. Don't go getting brand new. I think one way to look at your law school education is to view it as an elaborate set of mental organizing tools. They are just tools. You're still the same people that you were when you got here. And as you go forth, these tools will help you to organize the substance which has always been there within you. Those useful aspects of your nature, which have thus far been irrepressible, should not now be repressed. Perhaps they're fine-tuned or better groomed, but not repressed. And finally, this brings me to a story that my mother used to tell about me when I was a small child. I grew up in Los Angeles, and when I was very young, we didn't have a car, so we often took the bus. Now, any of you who have been to Los Angeles or know Los Angeles know that if you're taking the bus in Los Angeles, that's pretty much akin to torture. The system is very, very sporadic. So one day after a series of errands, and after having waited well over an hour for a bus to arrive, my mother and I finally got onto a bus. It was filled beyond capacity. It was the first one that had shown up. There was standing room only. I was 2 years old, and my legs could carry me no more. Because the bus ride home was a very long one, my mother looked up and down the bus to find an empty seat where she could place me. After moving through the bus a couple of times, she finally found one seat free. It was next to a man eating a decidedly smelly and messy container of food. It was apparent that was the reason why that seat was still empty. And as my mother used to tell the story, it was probably his leftovers from lunch. My mother decided that given the option of having me stand for that entire long bus ride, it was better to just put me in the seat next to the man. She stood over me, and she watched me as I grimaced, and I frowned, and I held my nose. You know how little kids are. You either have one or you've been one, you know. It was very late in the afternoon, and many people were coming from work, and they were tired, and they were dispirited, and the bus was completely silent. I finally turned and opened my mouth to say something to the man. At this point, my mother said she just cringed. She thought, oh my gosh, here she goes. My mother, being well experienced with me, started squeezing my hand and shaking her head at me to shush me, but I would not be shushed. I said loudly to the man, your food is making the whole bus smell bad. I'm going to need to use Dial soap after this. As you can see, I was a child of the commercial age. The entire bus erupted in laughter. The bus driver laughed so hard he had to pull over to the side of the road. The poor man who was the subject of my comments was apparently so embarrassed that he got off at the very next stop. I then turned to my mother and I said, why were you squeezing my hand? I like to tell this story for a couple of reasons. First, I want to let you know that people really don't change that much. I am at heart still that irrepressible 2-year-old, though typically more sophisticated in my expressions. Second, I see this story as a wonderful illustration of speaking truth to power. That is, saying aloud what everyone knows and nobody will acknowledge. I challenge you, as you enter the world after law school, to do the same. Public fiction sometimes masks uncomfortable, privately known truths. Do not, for example, fall victim to the all too common error of the educated, taking obscurity for profundity. And when in doubt, just ask, just ask. Be a leader. Be tempered and measured and be your authentic self. And that's all I have for you. Congratulations, graduates.
Bienvenidos a todos. Everyone is welcome. Mi nombre es Violeta Chapín. Soy una profesora de leyes aquí en la Universidad de Colorado. Todos nosotros estamos muy felices y muy orgullosos que nuestros estudiantes se están graduando hoy. Nosotros sabemos que todos los graduados aquí han tenido éxito en su vida con la ayuda, el amor y el apoyo de sus familias y sus amigos. Mil gracias a todas las mamás, los papás, los abuelos, los tíos, las tías, los hermanos, las hermanas, los mejores amigos. Todos aquí que han caminado juntos con nuestros estudiantes en este viaje. Tienen el mundo frente a ellos y hoy lo vamos a celebrar. Gracias y otra vez, bienvenidos.
Good afternoon, everybody. Well, petu kile chante washte yuha chuza pelo. We aka washte milo. I like to say, from my heart to you, I greet you in a good way today. My name is Doug Goodfeather. I'm here to honor all of you graduates for what you have come through with a song from my people, from this land, from this earth. You know, in our way, there's a great philosopher that we listen to and we learn from. And it's the buffalo people. And in our lives, sometimes we come to a crossroads. Here in this crossroads, we get tested. We're either going to give up, we're going to go this way or that way, or we're going to stay stagnant. But the purpose is to keep moving forward. So sometimes when the crossroad comes or the storm comes, you have to go into the storm. Because in the storm, the buffalo people are going to take you through there, through your perseverance. And in that storm, as you come through it, you're going to learn intelligence of who you are, where you stand in this world, your weaknesses and your strengths. Because if you don't go in there, you're going to always be running from the storm. So go into the storm like what you have been through at this time and what we all have been through. Because we must be strong and to come through the storm because there's intelligence to teach us. And there's people waiting for us when we come out. They're waiting for us to help them, just like all of you and what you're doing in your endeavors of life. To be the voice of law and justice, to take care of the people. You see, we need logic, but we also need compassion. And the heart will always guide you, always take you through the truth. As long as you follow the heart, you'll never get lost. You'll always have truth and justice. So congratulations to all of you coming through the storm for what we have been through in this time. The last 2 years, we did this virtual, and here we are together today. A blessing. Some went home, some didn't make it today. Some made their journey home. So we remember them. We put our knee on the ground and remember them. And we get up and we keep moving. Because our children, we need to make a place for our children. We need to be their role models. You know, when we think like a Mother Earth, when we think like her, we start to see each other. We start to understand each other, that we're no different. That our journey is the same. Some are different, some are harder than others. But the main thing is we're all making our way back to the main source. But until then, we must be useful on this earth. We must be useful to each other. We must give each other purpose so that we never leave a warrior behind. And people are going to depend on you. They're going to look at you. They're going to ask you for help. They're going to reach out to you and ask you to guide them with your wisdom and your knowledge that you came out of the storm with. You see, there's no coincidences. Do you believe that you chose to be here? Do you believe that? We all have a purpose in life. There's a reason for all of us. You're not just born for any reason. You're born for a purpose. And that purpose will guide you and nourish you until you find it. And when you find it, you be ready. Sometimes you come with multiple purposes. So congratulations to all of you. To see all your loved ones here, to honor you, and to tell you how proud they are of you. So rejoice life today, because tomorrow the work begins. And have fun. But remember to always take care of yourself. And to find true strength is to look in that mirror and to honor that person in there. To be good and loving to that person you're looking at. To cherish that person in there. To feed yourself good. to think good, to walk good. Of course, life isn't perfect because it's not meant to be. It's meant to challenge you. You're meant to go through these hard times and hardships because we are intelligent beings. And together we can make a good future for our children so that they can go swim in the water. They can play with the animals. They can witness the buffalo and the eagles. So this song is for you. It talks about your perseverance that you've been through, the hardships where maybe you felt like turning around and giving up, but you kept going because there was a purpose. You've seen somebody over there waiting for you, so you kept moving through it. No matter how hard it was, here you are today. Be proud of yourself. Honor yourself. Because you deserve it. And others deserve to see you that way. Stay humble. It keeps you intelligent and grounded. So this song is for you. For you today to always remember this day. Never forget it. You'll never forget it. I promise you. So thank you for asking me to come here. And I'm very honored to honor you in a good way. I'm very proud of all of you for what you have been through. And I know your loved ones are proud of you sitting here. So together, we honor you and we celebrate life with you. But keep moving. Keep moving. You remember, the Creator has many warriors on this earth, and one of them is the butterfly. And when you make an oath to the Creator, you become one of His warriors. So, take care of the people and yourself. Mitako yase. Have a beautiful day.
Good afternoon. My name is Blake Reed. I'm a clinical professor, and on behalf of the faculty, we're delighted to be with you to celebrate the accomplishments of our graduates. Law school is a rigorous endeavor under the best of circumstances, and we could not be prouder of every member of the class of 2022 who persevered through the challenging circumstances of the last 3 years to be here today. This ceremony is but a modest recognition of their high level of dedication, resilience, and achievement, and of the support they've received from their friends and family. All of our graduates have distinguished themselves in numerous ways that we take pride in honoring today. And it's my privilege to recognize our graduates who have excelled academically. The survival of the rule of law rests on the development of legal thought and argument through intellectually curious exploration of doctrine and respectful, intellectually honest debate. The graduates that we appoint to the Order of the Coif have demonstrated not only a high level of academic excellence, but a commitment to practicing law with intellectual integrity and rigor. Under the Order's constitution, only the top 10% of the graduating class of each law school is eligible for membership, and because grades are not yet finalized, final membership will be announced at a later date. However, the top 15% of graduates at the end of the fall semester are recognized in the program as candidates for the Order. Please join me in congratulating them on their accomplishments. Furthermore, it is our tradition at graduation to confer honorary membership in the Order to a member of the Colorado law community who has practiced with distinction. And this year, we present that honor to Woon Ki Lau, Colorado law alum from the class of 1972. Woon Ki found his professional purpose in the law school's clinic, where his hard work and connection with his clients formed a stepping stone to a long and fruitful career in practice. Originally from Hong Kong, Woon Ki, who speaks fluent Mandarin and Cantonese, went on from CU to become one of the first immigration lawyers in Colorado, co-founding the law firm of Lau and Choi PC, where he practices today. Woon Ki became the first chair of the Colorado chapter of the American Immigration Lawyers Association and founded the Colorado chapter of the Asian Pacific American Bar Association. Woon Ki has been a long-standing supporter of Colorado law and our students, including our Immigration and Citizenship Law program, the Lilac Fellowship program, which seeks to recruit and develop students from backgrounds underrepresented in law schools and in the legal profession, CU's International Human Rights Initiative, and perhaps most importantly, CU's Asian Pacific American Law Students Association chapter, where he routinely speaks to, mentors, and supports students. Woon Ki also has partnered with his wife Margaret in building a program of youth empowerment and community college scholarships for underserved Asian Pacific American students through the Colorado Organization for Chinese Americans, of which Margaret has served as president. And beyond all these accomplishments, my colleagues with whom Woon Ki has worked, and I've had a chance to talk to them over the last several weeks about Woon Ki, universally praise his work ethic, his ability to connect with people, his unflappable support of Colorado law and its students, his generosity and loyalty, his humility, his sense of humor, and even his service as a, by all accounts, excellent cook for the many celebrations that he hosts for the Asian, Pacific American, and broader legal communities here in Colorado. He invests in people and relationships without expectation of return, And I'm told he's so dedicated to letting others shine that he actively avoids the spotlight at events like this, to the point of ducking out of the way of the microphone when asked to speak. But I'm grateful to him for indulging us today in highlighting his lifetime of professional accomplishments, service, and contributions to the legal profession and community. Please join me in congratulating Woon Ki Lau for honorary membership in the Order of the Coif. Woon Ki.
I want to thank you so much for having me today. I will make this as short as possible. But I won't be standing up here without my wife, Margaret Choi. She is the other half of the Lau and Choi PC, an immigration law firm. Margaret has a very good heart, a lot of compassion for immigrants. And we are practically running some kind of a legal aid in immigration in Denver. Not only she has been doing a lot of work in immigration, she, for the last 5 years, has been the president of Organization of Chinese Americans. It's called OCA. It's an organization that helps Asian people. So the last 5 years, she happens to be the president of OCA, and during her leadership, she set up 3 different $100,000 endowment scholarship in downtown Denver. $100,000 scholarship. $100,000 scholarship at CCD. There's so many immigrants, they need a little push. Otherwise, they won't go to college. So she set that up as CCD. Then she set up another one because CCD is a 2 years college. So after that's done, she wants them to move forward. So she set up another one, $100,000, Metro State University. And just last year, within last year, she set up another $100,000 scholarship at University of Colorado, Denver, UCD. As we speak, she is working on the 4th scholarship. I don't want to mention the name of it's in Denver until we actually see some actual result. And how does she get that money? When she started being the president of OCA 5 years ago, she started a so-called 5K Panda Run. And the reason she called it the Panda Run is because she wants to accommodate old people like me. We're panda, we cannot run. This year, the Panda Run will be sometimes in July. If you guys can help out, please join us. You can walk with me. Okay. I want to go back to the year of 1969. I was going to school in CSU, and I applied to the law school here, and I got accepted. After I got accepted, I got a letter from a certain, I think he was an assistant dean, Dean Olin. And he asked me to come down to the university here to meet him. So I did. I came down and we visited a while. He learned a little bit about me. Then he told me the purpose of the meeting. He told me, Mr. Lau, I want you to know the stereotype attorneys are white, Jewish, and male. And he said, Mr. Lau, you're not white, you're not Jewish, and law school is very hard. You spend a lot of time in the library. You sacrifice a lot of family time, and nobody will hire you. I wish Dean Olin is here today. I really want to thank him. That was the best advice I've gotten from this law school, or from anybody. So I have to decide if I want to go to law school. I finally decided that I should, although I know at that time I knew nobody was hiring me, and I need to somehow start my own practice. So back then, remember, Dean Olin told me, you got to be white, you got to be Jewish, you got to be male. There were only 2 girls in my entering class. When I saw you parade in, I understand 60% of you are girls. It's amazing. So I knew nobody would hire me, so I spent very little time in the classroom. Why do I want good grades? Who am I trying to impress? Except back then, in the old law school, the basement was the legal aid clinic. And I was spending all my time. Second-year law student, you could sign up for the legal aid clinic. I spent all my time in legal aid clinic. And back then, legal aid was run by the third-year student directors. There should be around 5 student directors. Each student director has about 4 to 5 student, second-year law student under him. You notice I said under him. So I was lucky to have, in my second year, a third-year law student by the name of Dick Borchers being my student director. And this is what he said to me. He said, Woon-Kee, I want you to try every case. This experience is free. So I still remember him taking me, when I was a second-year law student, taking me to Fort Collins to try a case. I don't remember the case. And then to Denver and obviously Boulder. Now, in Boulder, the back courthouse, back then, the old courthouse was very small. And I remember trying a case, a DUI case. Now, there was no supervision. No faculty supervision, and I don't even Dick Borchers wasn't there because it was that loose. So I had a 2-day jury trial, and of course I lost. No, how can you win? And brand new. I remember after the trial, it was Judge Gardner. His chambers was on the 3rd floor of the old courthouse, and he wanted to see me. And I went inside his chambers, and he just chewed me out big time. And I was shaking, and after he was done, I turned around, and I walked out of his chambers, right? So I walked to the door, walked out there, and closed the door behind me. Oh, shoot. I was in his private restroom. I was really shaking, and that was terrible. And finally, I gathered up enough guts. I opened the door, and I walked out of the chamber, and there was a judge. I'm sure he was smiling, laughing big time inside. I'd like to tell you that particular episode because you guys are embarking on a new venture now. You will encounter, for those of you who might want to end up trying cases, there are some, especially if you are going a little too much, there might be some judges that give you some problem. And when that happens, think about it. It's not as bad as the judge's private restroom. So I owe a lot to Dean Olin. I owe a lot to this 3rd-year legal aid student director, Dick Borchers. He later became Adams County District Court judge, and then later the U.S. Magistrate Court Judge of Colorado. I have asked him to come here, but I don't know if he's here, but if he's here, thank you very much. I just want to tell you that you guys are graduating from a very, very good law school. You'll be out there doing some big things. More than 60% of you, it's amazing. Some of you might be the next congressman, senator, maybe US president, to keep up this good country. Finally, I really want to thank Dean Innes for inviting me here. And I want to thank every one of you for inviting me here. Thank you.
I'd now like to invite to the podium Benjamin Terrell Hepler, the class president, who's going to offer some remarks.
Thank you, Dean Innes. I am Ben Hepler. Thank you all for coming here. And I will say my accent does come out when I get nervous or excited, so I'll let y'all figure out what emotion I'm feeling right now. And you know, people told me that other law students try to tear you down, and sure enough, right before I got up here, Henry Seward told me my hat messed my hair up. So Henry, I hope it looks good enough for you now. But I am truly honored to represent those 180-something people that are sitting between y'all. And I gotta be honest, this is crazy. I really didn't think this was gonna happen, and this is the biggest crowd I've been in 3 years, so I thank God we made it through it, and I can't overstate how grateful I am that everyone else has come out here. And mostly I just really missed standstill traffic in Boulder, so thanks. And I know when people talk about our class, they inevitably have to talk about what we went through, and those circumstances are crazy. But I hope you always keep in mind that this class, it's not special because of the things that we had to endure, but it's special because of the people that endured them. And the families and friends of the last two classes didn't get to experience this, and so the rest of you are incredibly lucky because not only in a few minutes, and by a few minutes I mean probably an hour, you're gonna get free alcohol, but you get to meet any one of these amazing people that don't immediately run off to Dark Horse. And if you're nervous about meeting them, I'd rather leave you with a quote with someone a lot smarter than me. You might be familiar with her. Her name's Maya Angelou. And she said that people won't remember what you said, people won't remember what you did, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. And that's something I've really tried to guide my life by, especially the speech that I wrote 2 hours ago, because I hope no one's gonna remember a single word I say. And I also don't have enough time to tell you that I think this law school does have value, but it has value because of the incredible students that are sitting right there, the ones that followed us and the ones that are following, and also because some of those incredible professors, like the ones on that front row, that are gonna hood us. And I, as first person, I have to pick the one to hood me, and Bloom said he was gonna trip me if I didn't pick him, so. And I also wanna thank people like former Dean Dimmick and current Dean Emily Horowitz, who really put in the time and effort to make us feel like we mattered. So while I wanna make sure that you understand that today is about these people, I understand that people are shaped by the people that they surround themselves with. And unfortunately, the last 3 years, I've surrounded myself with lawyers and law students, but the rest of these seem pretty great, and I know that's a testament to everyone else in the room today. And I'm certainly grateful to my family and my friends that made it here today, but I also know that there's someone, I'm gonna try not to choke up here, someone who greatly shaped the person that I am, who isn't here today. And as Dean Ennis talked about her mom, Mother's Day is Sunday, so I know that hurts a little bit extra for some of us. And so for those of you that you do relate a little too hard to that, I want you to know that I feel you and I love you. Now for the fun part of the speech. As I said, you have an incredible opportunity to meet some really amazing people, and I hope you don't waste that. Because for instance, most of my memories come from people, and the first person I remember meeting was Angela Bubis at orientation. I remember that because she penny boarded to orientation, and I remember thinking, this person's way too cool for me to talk to. And then the next day she showed up in a foot brace, and I thought, maybe not. And sure enough, we ended up partnering in mock trial throughout all of law school. Now, Miss Bubis never won a mock trial tournament throughout law school because she partnered with me throughout all of law school. Or maybe you're gonna remember some of the normal period of law school we experienced, like when we got free food in the Commons. I'll remember the free food in the Commons because there was one time fries were left out for about 2 hours, and I got yelled at by Jen Gow and Sloan for not taking advantage of these nasty fries that were sitting out. And I guess we became friends later because sure enough, Sloan got a lovely concussion from Winter Park. And while we were trying to make sure she was okay, she was cooking for all of her friends, which I think just says a lot about her. Or maybe it says a lot about that concussion, I don't know. Or maybe you remember the legendary Nick Klein and his infamous hardly know her jokes. Like 3 of you do. And without getting into too much detail, you might remember how he was the first victim to the Dark Horse in getting yet another concussion. Or maybe you remember the incomparable Luke Chang, who hopefully is our last law school injury, who's, I think, here in a knee brace. So say what you want about my class, but don't you dare call us well-coordinated. We are straight clumsy. I think I broke HIPAA like 5 times for that punchline, but that I didn't take health law. But again, I hope you make these graduates feel special today because they certainly made me feel special the last 3 years, especially the ones I called out, especially Nate and Eads for helping me get through this time, or Devin and Kinsey for letting me play with their dogs, or even John, who I managed to get elected as secretary as an elaborate joke. So thanks for putting up with me. To my class, I'm genuinely proud to know you. You're gonna add a lot of value to this field, and I'm excited to see what you do. But speaking of value, it's now my pleasure to introduce our class treasurer, Jason Rogers. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. This might be a little bit rough. I tried to look on Quimby for a speech last night. Everyone in the center is laughing. No one else has any idea what I'm talking about. But they didn't have one, unfortunately. Every student here, I'm here to present the student awards. And every student here has done extraordinary things over the past 3 years. Some of these accomplishments occurred publicly, and some happened in isolated apartments in the middle of a pandemic. And they will be only known to the person who accomplished them. Back in April, Colorado Law hosted a student awards ceremony to publicly and formally recognize student award winners. However, we want to quickly acknowledge them here. I met Clement Asante during orientation. He was not in a knee brace, and I was just struck by his energy and enthusiasm. He is the David M. Sutcliffe Student Barista Association Distinguished Student Award winner. The namesake of this award you're going to be doing that a lot for him. The namesake of this award was a student who was known as a down-to-earth and everyone's friend. And I think that describes Clement perfectly. He is also the Emeritus Student Award winner, an award given to the 3L who has contributed most to the law school community. So congratulations again. Rachel Hirsch was awarded the Women's Law Caucus Award for her contributions to women's issues, a contribution which could not be more relevant or important to our society or to human rights in these fractured and troubled times with storm clouds on the horizon. Lastly, although she's not a student, the teleprompter didn't say hold for applause. Lastly, although she's not a student, or at least hasn't been a student these past 3 years, she was our Dean of Students for many years. And the class would like to thank former Dean Whiting Dimmock for her 11 and a half years of service to the law school, for her integrity, her honesty, her genuine concern for any student who approached her with an issue. Thank you, Dean Whiting. And now, the man elected most likely to be selected as a class officer due to a prank. The class of 2022 Secretary John Baker.
So I've been told we're running a little short on time, so let's hold the applause to the end. I'm going to introduce the professors who won awards, as well as our hooding professors. So first we have our Outstanding New Faculty Award, which went to Professor Spencer, the Barbara B. Legate Humanitarian Award, which went to Dean Guzman, and the Excellence in Teaching Award, which went to Professor Levin. Professor Levin is also one of our hooding professors, along with Professor Bloom and Professor Skinner-Thompson. I had the pleasure of taking a class with Professors Bloom and Skinner-Thompson, and even though I didn't have a chance to take a class with Professor Levin, my friends have assured me that all three create thought-provoking and welcoming classroom environments and are always available to mentor and support their students. So thanks again for agreeing to hood us. We were also lucky enough to just have an outstanding faculty during our time at Colorado Law. Our professors were supportive and understanding of our hardships and helped students with research and as mentors. While some of us turned our cameras off and took a personal snow day every now and again, thanks to Zoom, Our professors didn't have that luxury. They were there every day, staring into the void sometimes when there were a lot of cameras off. So thank you for supporting us through 3 of the hardest years of our lives. Thank you for always keeping your cameras on and your personal Zoom rooms and office doors open. We sincerely couldn't have done it without you, so thank you. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Mackenzie Smith, our class vice president, to introduce our speaker.
Thank you, John. And let me just say, despite what Jason and Ben have insinuated, I think you were born to be class secretary. Thank you to everyone who has made today possible. It is my honor and privilege to introduce to you our keynote speaker, Colorado's own Governor Polis. Governor Polis is an entrepreneur, leader in improving education, and the 43rd governor of Colorado. He started his first business out of his Princeton University dorm room, American Information Systems. He launched 3 successful business companies by the time he was 30 and earned the Entrepreneur of the Year distinction from Ernst & Young for his role in the internet economy. As a Colorado native, Governor Polis wanted to make sure that other Coloradans had the opportunity to pursue their dreams. He co-founded the startup accelerator Techstars to provide mentorship to entrepreneurs and Patriot Bootcamp geared towards helping veterans start their own businesses. Governor Polis places great emphasis on improving public education. He served 6 years on the State Board of Education and founded several public charter schools for at-risk youth. In fact, he served as superintendent for one of the charter schools, the New America School, helping immigrants earn their high school diploma. Additionally, Governor Polis served as the U.S. representative for Colorado's 2nd Congressional District. During his time as a member in Congress, he was ranked the most effective member of Colorado's House delegation for his work to improve schools, protect public lands, and support entrepreneurship. He ran for governor in 2018 and started his current term in 2019. In his free time, Governor Polis likes to cheer on the Rockies with his partner and their 2 children. Please join me in welcoming Governor Polis.
Thank you, Mackenzie. I'm glad I never went to grad school because these gowns are very hot and uncomfortable. But your faculty wears them year after year. Let's give your instructors and faculty another round of applause. I'm excited to be part of this moment, the first opportunity in 3 years to honor our CU graduates together in person. Your tenure as students coincides with a remarkable period of challenges in history. And I think that that'll be a source of strength to you going forward. I want to thank Dean Innes, the entire team for continuing in the face of a global pandemic. Obviously, I know that members of the CU and CU Law School family also lost homes in the recent Marshall fires. This has truly been an extraordinary period. Above all, you persevered. In fact, even today, I just got a notice this morning that the bar is now no longer going to recommend the LSAT for admission to law school. I was talking to some of the faculty earlier. They were saying, how long now till we phase out the bar exam? So you guys might have gotten the short end of the stick, though. You're still taking it. July, you took the LSAT. But, you know, we always want to build a brighter future for those that come ahead. And, you know, when Woon Ki Lau, who I just met, was telling us the story of the very bad advice that the then dean of the law school gave him about how women and non-white people wouldn't be good attorneys. I kind of got opposite advice from my parents on the other side growing up. My parents were business people. Blue Mountain Arts started here in Boulder in 1970. My mom's main business advice was always hire a woman lawyer. And I said, why? And because she's a feminist. I thought maybe that was it. I'm a feminist. My whole family is. No, she said, no. At that point, you said, 2% when you went to law school. Maybe it was 10% or so of attorneys were women when they were there. They said it's because you know that the women are smarter and harder working and better because they had to fight a lot harder to get where they were. Now, that for better is no longer the case, and we now live in a world where it's safe to hire a man as a lawyer too. You know, you entered this program in 2019, sort of the before times of the pandemic. You have some memories of that. I don't even think any of you even thought about the word pandemic. It was a joyful time of innocence for all of us. Overnight, you went from attending classes on campus to online lectures. Some of you perhaps in other states, some of you here, kitchen table, home office. Instead of learning alongside your classmates, you were alongside, in many cases, your parents, perhaps your roommates, perhaps younger siblings, perhaps barking dogs. But you didn't let that keep you from building this meaningful community and building the ties in new and better ways. When happy hours in person were not an option, I heard you organized online gatherings and trivia nights with Professor Bloom and Dean Fulton, Zoom dinner parties, game nights, sitting together outdoors. I think all of us, around us also developed Corona hobbies, whether it was tending to your new sourdough starter or a new interest in gardening, or God forbid, even getting ahead in your schoolwork. I enjoyed cooking and spending time with my family as well. And as the pandemic endured, we also really came together and learned a lot. And there's a famous saying, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. And I know that that's truly what each and every one of you did to persevere in the successful study of law and building the very important relationships that come out of your 3 years here. Each of you has faced this obstacle together, and in many ways, that commonality itself is a bonding experience in and of itself. In my office and my 3 years as governor, corresponding with your 3 years in law school has also been overshadowed and overlapped with the impacts of the pandemic. We have always had a mantra that we want to be bold and be joyous in everything we do. It's certainly these values that led me to live my life in the private sector, starting several companies, my passion for education and public service. And I know that many of you have followed a similar passion to law school. Being bold means daring to dream and then grasping and achieving that dream, moving towards it. Never be dissuaded from the pursuit of a dream. When I started a New America School to serve at-risk youth, I got to see firsthand, despite the naysayers, the difference we could make in the lives of kids every day. And being bold means taking on the challenge and living for the times and always being in a little bit over your head, because that's the best way to learn. If it's too easy, it's not bold, it's not challenging enough. Now, if it's too hard, you're drowning, but you want to be just in that spot where you are maximizing your own self-growth and self-actualization potential. In terms of being joyous, it means taking the little joys and the great joys that life offers and making the most of them. It means, of course, family and friends and passions and hobbies. It could mean playing video games, could mean cooking, sports. As Rumi said, when you do things from your soul, you feel a river moving in you, a joy. And you want to do that from yourself outward, from your soul outward. And that very joy is also infectious to those around you, your own friends and family. Now, it's not always easy. It's easy to say. In practice, it's really finding the moments in your daily life that make you happy, expanding upon those, living those to the maximum. And of course, these last few years have put the be bold and be joyous mantra to the test. But those words have always helped remind me and guide me through these difficult times. But it's really through the challenges and the cracks in life that we also see the light. And from the obstacles come new opportunities and growth. The Japanese have a centuries-old tradition called kintsugi, which translates to golden joinery or gold mending. It's a practice of fixing broken pottery, but instead of using adhesive that camouflages the cracks, it uses a special lacquer or gold or silver to emphasize the cracks, that essential character that they bring to the piece. The idea is that by confronting flaws, by transforming flaws into assets and recognizing their beauty, we can really appreciate everything within ourselves and within the outside world. and learn to appreciate them. And that's, really a big part of celebrating your accomplishment with all the difficulties and challenges you've had the way. It's important to gild those and own those and make them part of that formative experience that made you into the wonderful people that you are today. Of course, this group of law school students is not the same group who first walked onto campus 3 years ago. You're forever changed. I always like to quote fictional characters, so it was Spock who said, "Change is the essential process of all existence." Fictional characters are far more wise than non-fictional characters. You never know what life will bring. And you face a particular set of challenges in the world ahead, because of course becoming an attorney means committing to uphold the law, the rule of law, to uphold justice, the creed of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. But defending the very institution of law and the rule of law, which in prior generations was a given, is now very much a challenge of the moment. Here at home, with those seeking to overturn democratic elections, and overseas with the rising tide of authoritarianism and the ensuing disdain for the rule of law that comes along with it. I didn't think, and I don't think you did growing up, that at this day and age we would be defending liberal democracy and rule of law. Because it's important to know that the means don't justify the ends for a particular policy outcome when achieving that outcome undermines the rule of law. You now, as graduates of CU Law School, are very much now in the forefront of defending this trade, this system of justice that you have studied and learned. And it's not always a given. I'm a baseball fan, and if people train for baseball, they expect there'll be certain rules: 3 outs, 9 innings. Now, they change around the edges every now and then, like this adding the DH rule to the National League, which is a complete disgrace. But a pitcher can still hit. They can be their own DH. But here in the field of law, there is really a greater assault on the very institution of rule of law and a global system of rules, a state and federal system of rules that allow for the best possible outcome for humanity to get along and resolve their differences without resorting to violence. Despite the threat of authoritarian regimes abroad, of aspiring despots here at home, I remain hopeful. I remain hopeful because I look out across your faces. I remain hopeful about the bold and bright future of the state of Colorado, of the education that you received here at the University of Colorado Law School. Each of you has earned the right to be incredibly proud of what you've accomplished, and along with that, the accompanying responsibility to defend the very institution of law that you are soon to be a practitioner of. So as we close today, I call on each of you to use your degree to follow your passion, the outward projection of what exists in your soul, to work hard, to be bold, to be joyous, to uphold the principles of our republic and the rule of law. And if you do these things, you will truly have nothing to regret when you look back on your life. And years from now, when you're all in rocking chairs sitting with your friends in a retirement home, you'll even share a laugh or two about those crazy pandemic days. Congratulations to you, the graduates of Colorado Law, class of 2022. I can't wait to see what you all do next.
I'd like to ask former Assistant Dean Whiting Dimick to come up and join us as we get ready for the conferral. I think she's sitting out in the audience there.
Thank you, Dean Innes. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm going to ask our class officers to come up, our hooding professors to come up, And the way this will work for folks who haven't had a chance to read the instructions is that we'll have graduates come up row by row, get hooded, and I know it's very hard to choose because many of you would like to be hooded by all of the hooding professors. We are going to ask you to move to the first available hooding professor, and then once you've been hooded, get back in order and stand in front of the black table, and I'll announce you. Thank you. Benjamin Tyrell Hepler. Jason Rogers. John McAllister Baker. Mackenzie Seiler Smith. Libby Truitt. Nathaniel Moore. Andrew Eads. Ashton Byrne. Henry Ernest Seward. Sloan K. Dreyer. Matthew L. Epstein. Taylor Alexandria Hill John. Ryan C. Cutbirth. And now for our LLM graduates. First, Reem Al-Khatib. Yekaterina Berenzina. Mauricio Chiriboga Marino. Lidiana Fejea. Emils Jonins. Veronica Leydens. Deborah Martins. Katia Lucia Montesinos Peva. Consulate Ndaguirre. Pranana Paul. Madison Daniels Phillips. Maria Azlaksan Ravna. Tejal Vedak. Matthew Robert Vondrasik. Now for our Juris Doctor graduates, Clement Asante. Derek A. Baker. Kelly Baker. Emily Sophia Bartlomaychuk. Bernardo Bioso Lizarzaval. Sierra Bennett. Kevin D. Bernstein. Alexander Bigwood. Maria Boggs. Jake J. Bonsack. Jacob L. Bookspan. Katie Bostrom. Tracy Lorraine Brooks. Anne Marie Brown. Steve Bruns. Angela Bubis. Monica Benet. Michael Callahan. Christina Canino. Andrew James Carpenter. Emma Carroll. Devin Case. Micah Chang. Luke Chang. Christopher Stark Claypool. Dylan Clayton. Shira Cohen. Thomas Coughlin. April Y. Crane. Amanda Cranston. Nicholas James Crockett. Tate E. Crosby. Ava Cusack. Lauren Davis. Anna Elise Dixon. Bella Ekstrom. Alex Espina. Luke Farquhar. Matthew Fetter. Jennifer W. Gao. Jose Ramon Garcia Madrid. McKaylee Garner. Kevin Gifford. Joel A. Gonzalez Bolivar. Jennifer Goodman. Krista Joy Gould. Clara Rose Granger. Zachary T. Greeter. Rebecca Lynch Gruber. Serena Godino. Kasha Noel Hallbleib. Andrew Henry Hall. Dylan O. Hall. Dakota L. Hamilton. John P. Harrison. Oh, Andy Harvey, I'm sorry. Savannah K. Hook. Nathaniel M. Howe. Emily R. Jameson. John Jang. Allie Johnson. Dag P. Jansrud. Rami Jordan. Alex Kaminsky. Brian Andres Keener. Mia Keller. Sarah Ruth Keller. Nicholas Klein. Emily Clody. Maddie Kofed. Helen M. Land. Sten Larson. Caitlin J. League. Gabriel Lennon. Melina Leodos Whalen. Marcia Leviton Hafar. Aurora Lee Marsh. Rosalind Martinez. Jason Matei. Clay McDowell. Audrey McNamara. Rachel Meadow. Catherine Montgomery. Van Michael K. Moore. Zoe E. Nagasing. Nikki Nelson. Ming Lee Newcomb. Isabel J. Norwood. Mackenzie M. Novak. Michael A. Obregon. Lucas Edgar Scott O'Brien. Yael Ochoa. Charlotte C. Paler. Claudia Palchinska. Michael J. Passant. Galen Peterson. Leonard Pollard. William T. Raley. Maya Raphael. Cameron A. Rasco. Arandi Ratnayaka. Jack Raycraft. Kelly Reeves. Rebecca Riley. Jennifer Ritchie. Ryan D. Robinson. Patricia Rodriguez. Nayla Angelica Rosales Huesca. Anthony J. Ryan. Andrew M. Salazar. Timothy Scarborough. Glory Schmidt. Colin Scott. Peter Salimos. Marlo Seskin. Brenna K. Shannon. Aaron W. Slade. Peter Slag. Evan H. Smithers. James Snow. Brendan Sohn. Chloe Sauvigny Dyroff. Mitchell W. Steves. Nicholas Steverson. Elizabeth E.P. Stonehill. Patrick Sullivan. Rhonda Sutor. Lorenzo Thane. Sarah Thomas. Ellen Thurston. Brianna Todd. Liz Topping. Rachel D. Van Amberg. Erin Marie Van Eck. Anna Victoria Venzor. Catherine Rebecca Victor. Diego Villarreal. Mary Walsh. Stacy Weber. John C. Wilkinson. Kende Winful. Patrick J. Wittershine. Hannah Wynn. Abigail Rose Zinman. Now for our MSL graduates, Tasha Abbott. Catherine Gorman Bauer. Kara Marsh. Carrie Reyes. Sion Hale Tesfaye. Olivia Watson.
I'd now like to call David W. Stark, class of 1973, Law Board Alumni Chair.
Good afternoon. My name is David Stark. I graduated in 1973, just 1 year behind Woon Kee Lau. Woon Kee was a legend in the legal aid clinic. I know that because I served there with him. Today, I am honored to serve as the chair of the Law Alumni Board. And this afternoon, you are officially alumni of the University of Colorado Law School, and you join the ranks of over 8,000 fellow graduates of this fine law school, and you join the ranks as lifetime law buffs. The Colorado Law alumni have key roles all over the world, in law firms, businesses, nonprofits, courts, and government service. They make a difference, and they can be a resource for you. As alumni, we share a common experience, and I encourage you to keep in touch with your law school. We are proud of you, and we want to know about your professional and life accomplishments. I also invite you to continue to engage with your alma mater by attending alumni events, sharing your story with future students, and attending continuing legal education offerings. Please know your relationship with Colorado law lasts a lifetime. Congratulations and welcome to the Colorado Law alumni family.
I'd now like to give what is known as the Sears Charge. You've now received the Juris Doctor degree. Please do not take undue pride in this title, for in the final analysis, the test of your professional fitness will lie not in your title, but rather in your service to society and in the extent to which you combine professional skills with humane concern, legal learning with intense integrity, great energy with high ideals. What kind of lawyer you will be depends in large part on the kind of person you are. I hope you may continue to grow and that in the years to come, you will live the most challenging life of all, the life of the mind, the life of service. To you all, we wish great success in your chosen profession. I'd like to ask, as we move towards conclusion for today, that members of the audience remain seated during the faculty and graduate recessional. And after this ceremony, I hope that members of our audience will join us back at Wolf Law School for a reception that will take place from 2 to 4. The buses will run from here at Mackey Auditorium, and they will run continuously for the next several minutes while the graduates will recess back to the law school.